Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Stellarton Council meeting, May 13th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. start time here in the council chambers. First item is the agenda for approval. Is there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Yes, Your Worship. Can we put on there, I just call it motion for police? We'll call it that.
Motion for police?
Yeah, it's not on the police. I want, okay, just put police down.
Okay. Make that number 11, police. And there's nothing else, we'll make open forum 12, next council 13, adjourn 14. Okay, with that, can I have a motion, please?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Moved by Councilor Pence, seconded by Councilor Knight. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, the minutes from April 8th. They were distributed electronically. They're also part of the package. Are there any errors or omissions?
Move as written, Your Worship.
Second that.
Moved by Councilor Pence, seconded by Deputy Mayor Campbell. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Hearing none, we'll move into our presentations. First presentations from the CEF 144. Roy Burns here to do a presentation for us. It looks like he took someone with him as well, so the floor is yours.
Just make sure you press the button there on the microphone.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, folks, and thanks to the council here for allowing us to use this venue to do our presentation. Thank you. My name is Roy Byrne. I'm chairman of the Community Advisory Board to the 144 Construction Engineering Flight down in Pictou. With me tonight is the officer commanding the flight, Lieutenant Marcetta. Our presentation is in a two presentation. I'll speak on the Community Advisory Board, the OJT part of the project, and the lieutenant here, he'll speak on the training and the employment opportunities at the unit. The flight has been provided many benefits to the community over the years. The projects we've done throughout the community, we've worked on different places. One that just came to mind as we drove in was your arena next door. That was a major event, one of our bigger projects. But we worked on community halls, churches, you name it, we've worked on it. It's any non-for-profit organization is who we work for. We can't compete with the contractors. The role of the Community Advisory Board is to provide liaison between ourselves and the military. And the way we do that is we have two members from each town, two members from the county, myself, Lieutenant Marcetta, and his project coordinator. And that was all laid out back in April of 1996 when they came up with a memorandum of understanding. So we've been in place since then. What we found in the past is with COVID, things got laid back and we were all locked up, of course, and nothing really happened. So now we're trying to bring the program forward again. And one of the things that we're noticing on the board level is that we're missing some members of the board, not this particular town, but we are missing members, and the attendance isn't on a regular basis. So if you have members, I don't see the members here, but anyway, if the members would attend on a more regular basis, we certainly appreciate it. The mandate of the board, we're here to promote the OJT program that we offer in the community. And the on-job training program, the way it works with us is that we have a program where you get in contact with us. We'll send you a request project or a project request package. You fill out that package, you send it in to, actually comes to myself. We look at the package and say, yeah, this is feasible or it's not feasible. Is it, do we get our best bang for a buck by sending our guys down the road to work on this project? Like, there's no value in us to come in here and paint this room. So if you want to come in, have us come in here and tear the walls down, put new electrical in for you, with mountain lighting, whatever, yeah, there's lots of valuable training in that. So what the board does, we screen projects when they come in. And that's the whole idea of having members from each of the town councils here as part of the board. Because sitting in Pictou, I have no idea what's going on, say, in your community here, or what's going on in Westville. That's the whole idea of having Westville guys here, Trenton guys, Westville, or the county guys here. So they can advise us, hey, in 2 years' time, we're going to tear that building down, or we're going to do this to that building over there, or the street's changing, whatever. The street's changing, and some coming up this summer to be changed in Pictou for a short term. But anyway, that's the whole idea of having the cross group that we have. We needed a good, strong advice from the community itself. And the other thing we need to do is we try to promote our on-job training program in the community. We've tried, in fact, we have had some success in the past with using private contractors. So what we do there is our member, whether it be electrician or carpenter or whatever, he'll go, he'll work with a private contractor. Private contractor doesn't pay wages. We supply an extra set of hands and a skilled set of hands. The idea is to bring some training with whether it be wiring or bricklaying or construction work. So that's one of the big advantages of our OJT program. But the project criteria have to meet, must be beneficial to the community and to us. Like there's projects that come across my desk, painting projects. Like for us to go and paint something, paint a sign or paint a piece of equipment, whatever. There's not a whole lot of training value in sending out journeyman electrician and plumbers and stuff down the street to paint a building or some monument, you know. Great, the monument has to survive and has to be taken care of, you know, but that's not our line of work. We're more of a technical group of people. And it must not compete with local contractors. You can't come in here, or you can't send, or shouldn't send us a request that's in competition, or you're trying to work a better deal with a local contractor. That's not what the intent of our program is. Our intent is that you're doing a project, you're tight for money, whatever as everybody else is, and you come to us and say, great, we have a project, say to do the roof in your arena, which we did years ago for you. And to do that by contract was going to cost you, say, $25,000 back then. Well, we'll come in, we can help you out that way with reducing that cost by providing good free labor to do that rink or whatever building monuments in town we've done here, municipal buildings we've worked on. So that's where you get the big value from us, and that's where we get the value in the training. And that's what we're looking for, good quality training. All materials that are required for the project, it's and all the environmental assessments if they're required. That's all on you. Whoever fills that request form, they're responsible for that part of the project. Because we've done projects on crossing rivers, we've built bridges for transport trucks to go across up in the other side of the River John area. We've done all kinds of projects. We've had projects come across our desk where people say, hey, you know, come down here and build a wharf for us. We checked in the paperwork. They didn't even own the property. They didn't have right away to the property or the waterfront. So, you know, that's the whole idea of the board, and having so many people on the board is great. Dan knows what's going on here in town. If we're going to build something on the river down here, he would know about it. Or if, who else is there? Any one of the other members from the other towns here, if we're going to do something on East River, in the Glasgow or Trent areas, they would know, great, you know, you don't want to go down there because that's town land, we're going to do something else with it. That's, as I say, I keep repeating that, but that's important to have those members there to steer us in the right direction and steer him in the right direction. The big advantage to us working for you is all the wages, all the transportation costs of our men to and from the job sites, there are expenses. All the liability insurance, everything else, we cover that. That's all part of the package. You supply the materials, we supply the labor, the manpower, everything. I'll get along, won't take too much of your time. And the way the project approval works is that with the Community Advisory Board and everybody on board with us from all the towns, we screen all the projects. It doesn't go past the board. If the board doesn't pass it, it doesn't get to these guys. It won't get to these guys. And that's the whole idea of having everybody on board with us and why we need regular attendance at the meetings. Is to make sure that we have a good screening process and that we're working in the right areas and the areas that need to be worked on and working for groups that need the money. Like I've got, last meeting we put through 4 community projects. One was a fire hall that needs some DC work done and electrical work done. Another one's for a community hall that's need a roofing project, and the interior walls are going to be taken out and some more electrical and construction work. There's another project for, well, it's a Clan McDonald project. They have a monument down by the Pictou Rotary. There's a long story behind that, but anyway, they obtained land years ago from the provincial government. Provincial government sold the land to the town of Pictou. Now the town of Pictou is selling the land to somebody else, and of course, the new buyers want the monument out of there. So we're going to work with Clan McDonald and move the monument, help them move the monument to downtown Pictou. That's the sort of thing that we're into and we want to work with. Once the project passes through us, say that group of people, that 14 people, we sit around the table. Once we say, great, yeah, this is a good project, it's good for us and it's good for the towns. We're not competing with anybody else. We're not competing with one of the local contractors in the town. And we give a stamp of approval, then we give it to Lieutenant Marcetta, and he'll sit down with this project coordinator, and they will set up a time then to do a site visit. But at that point, that's when it leaves the Community Advisory Board's hands, and turn it over to Lieutenant Marcetta. Lieutenant Marcetta is going to speak now on the OJT and training opportunities that the flight ad has to offer downtown, or in fact, rather. So, Lieutenant Marcetta?
Yeah, so I mean, as Roy was saying here, we offer free labor for these non-for-profit organizations as long as they supply all the materials and pay for all that, which saves a ton of money, right? It gives these non-for-profit organizations the opportunity to strive in quite an expensive time, during the world right now. Everything's inflated and expensive. So what we offer primarily the most that trades that are put to work right now are carpenters, electricians, and plumbers. However, we have electrical generator systems technicians, environmental technicians. Although how Roy was saying, all that has to be approved, the environmental side of things before, so we're not held liable for that. And if there's an environmental issue, we probably don't want to get involved with it in the first place. But that's just a liability thing. So basically, these nonprofit organizations, we help them by giving them the free labor, and in return, we have the chance to train our people, our tradesmen. Because our flight is very small in Pictou, there's not a lot of in-house projects, and most of our budget goes toward helping the community. So in this regard, it keeps us busy, and it also lets the tradesmen log off on their hours so that they can get trade qualified in about 3 to 4 years, depending on if everything's going right. We're kept busy. So the more nonprofit organizations that come, the more jobs there are, the better it is for everyone, right? So some examples, we just finished a project in Tatamagouche with the Northumberland Arts Council, the Fraser Center there. We renovated the entire basement, one of the rooms there. It was completely gutted. I have photographs, probably not going to show the camera like this, but the floorboard, everything was redone pretty much. Anything that involves a basement reno, that's what we did. The only thing that was requested to get installed, not by us, was the heat pump due to, again, liability issues. But I'm not sure if you got a chance to look at it, but it was really nice, and it got traction, at least with, the military. We wrote an article recently that's going to be submitted by the Aurora, but that's a military article. I think it may have also been, I have to look into it, I forget. I'm pretty sure it was also in one of the local news articles as well. But Dave Parker, Dave Parker, he was a client for that task. If you know him, you can reach out to him, and he'll tell you we did a phenomenal job with it. But again, with that, there was electrical work, not so much plumbing, but carpentry, baseboards, the walls, drywall, the ceiling, support beams were included, added in there. A whole wall was torn apart, and thus that's why we had to support it. But it was a big project. Took a few months, but a lot of experience was gained from that, and the client was very happy. Another example was the Hillside Communities, or Hillside Society. We replaced 3 of their windows in the basement there and finished that not too long ago. That was a whole lot of carpentry. And again, we offer cross training as well. So if one job is heavy on electrical or carpentry, the electrical tradesmen and other trades get the opportunity to learn as well, step outside of their trade to learn other trades as well. So
okay, that's a lot of the professional stuff what we do. Now, behind the scenes, what we also do is, we have a lot of kids in high school right now. I'll speak very frankly with you for a few minutes. We have a lot of kids in high school coming out of high school right now and not quite sure where they're going to go. Now, we understand community college is up around $70,000. There's one course, I think it's the high-pressure welding course, whatever it is put on in St. Anthony, Newfoundland. It costs $22,000 to send a kid up there to St. Anthony to do the course. He comes out of St. Anthony, $22,000 in the hole, as no security whatsoever as a job employment. Where we come into play, not to compete with the universities or trade schools or anybody else, but if the students come to us, and we are doing a campaign right now in all the high schools around, But if students want to come down and try us out, or try us on for size, see how we fit, what happens there is they come down to our door, knock on our door in Pictou, or make arrangements for an appointment. Our recruiters will take them in, they'll sit them down by a computer, and they'll go through, they'll actually spoon feed them through the computer, how to fill out all the application forms. Once that's done, you're assessed on the information they put into the computer. If they look good, they like us, we like them, great. Then we truck them off to Halifax, they come back to Pictou again. From the time they come into Pictou, they're paid, the meals are paid for, the transportation's paid for. We run them down to Halifax, they get a free medical, they get another interview, and these people are called professional assessors. They can tell you, okay, great, you're good at being a mayor, but you're not good at being a mayor. You're good at being governor, I don't know. But anyway, they assess you, they find out what your strong points are, and they'll say, great, you're gonna make a good, maybe a good electrician, you're gonna make a good trucker, you're gonna make a good plumber. And that's what they recommend. And a lot of people come in shortchanging themselves, saying, hey, the only guy who knows be a driver. I can't be an electrician or environmental. We have environmental specialists. That's guys that run your water treatment plants here. We have those guys in our plant that work with us. And we have a course that actually put on in Gage Town, New Brunswick, yeah. So anyway, they do your assessment. It's all free. You sign the dotted line saying, great, yeah, we're allowed to use your information and we'll process it through our system. And I should correct myself here. This is not just for kids. This is for anybody up to age 50. You want to come down and work with us? Great, come on in. And so we'll take you down, do your assessments, come back, then we'll call you back down again and say, great, here's the paperwork that we got back from Halifax. This is how you did with your assessment in Halifax. We've got your medical report. Medical was great. This is what we're offering. And they usually give you 3 choices. So you sit down and say, yeah, gee, I'd like to take this, this, and this. This summer, we hope to have 6 people leaving Pictou County. And the EMQ this summer is down in Aldershot, just outside of Kentville area. I don't know if you guys know Kentville or the Valley well. Aldershot's just outside of Kentville. So the BMQ, the Basic Military Qualification course, is being conducted there this summer. And we hope to have 6 on that course. And those, anyway, people go down, do the BMQ, they come back to us, and then we arrange for them to go to our schools, our military schools for the training. Course is usually 3 months long. If you, we just brought one lady in, I won't say her name anyway, she came in, she's really highly qualified in the financial world, so she's going to be one of our financial trainers. And she's going to miss the first phase of training because she says so much qualifications right now, she's actually overqualified for what she's doing. But we recognize that, and we're going to say, great, we're not going to torture you by sending off 3 months in Camp Borden, Ontario. We're going to waive those first 3 months of training for you. So they come in on board with us, and they come with us, and one guy pointed out, one of the counselors pointed out at our last meeting, look at what those guys are wearing. I said, what do you mean what they're wearing? He said, work boots. He has a son that's gone into the workforce. His work boots cost $300. We do PT 3 days a week. He goes to the gym up here. That costs him $45 a month for him, $45 for his wife. He's paying $90 a month for gym fees. We have gym 3 days a week for nothing. And you get paid while you're in the gym, while you're going to the gym now. The OJT, like the LT talked about, you come in with us, we have journeyman electricians, journeyman plumbers, journeyman environmental specialists, and the guys going out the street will work under those guys, similar to the apprenticeship program on Civvy Street. And that's how the program works. You work your way up through the system. Right now, just to give you a ballpark price, people, one question we were asked on one of the presentations was, okay, what kind of money are you paying? Well, what can you pay out? Right now, our electricians, journeyman electricians, are getting around $74,000 a year. That's not bad money for, you're getting free education, free clothing, like all the clothing you see the LT wearing, that's all free.
So I actually did the math recently. If you go and search up the reservist pay, it's about $46,000, like before basic, like signing up. So once you're out of basic, it goes up significantly. But after trade qualified, after 3 to 4 years, it's around 67. But it goes up every year. That's the scale. There's an increment every year. It goes up. Well, again, you can search up the pay scale, and anyone can. It's on the Government of Canada website. Either way, it's a competitive salary compared to trades outside of the military. And like he was saying, I was actually at the high school. I forget which one it was. I'm new to this area. I just moved here and started this job about 2 months ago. Maybe it was more than that. It's all been a blur. But I was at that high school, and a ton of kids, I asked them, like, what's your plan after high school? And one of them literally answered with, I'm just just letting the wind take me, right? It's like, okay, well, I mean, then you should definitely have a talk with the recruiters, because we might be able to point you in the right direction before you spend a couple years dilly-dallying after high school, not knowing what you want to do. And one of them actually suggested he wanted to be a carpenter, and but he didn't want to join the military at all. I said, well, listen, if you actually want to do this, go see our recruiter, Nolan Reddick. He's great at his job, and he gave him the rundown. He was interested, because again, it would be $4,000 a year to attend a community college or wherever else for carpentry. So, and after however many years it takes, 4 years.
Roughly 4 years to get through.
Yeah, that's, a ton of money that you have to pay back with loans, right? And the military covers everything. Again, what he was saying, the travel, everything is paid for. So you take the same amount of time becoming trade qualified in the civilian world, you take the same amount of time as it takes with us, but everything is paid for. So it's,
And the other thing that people seem to think, that once you've been signed a dotted line, you're committed forever. You can come in tomorrow and sign a dotted line, go off to a 3-month course at one of our schools, and come back and say, well, hell, this is not for me, I want out. And you can turn the kid in and walk out the door. You don't pay back money or whatever else for the course, there's no payback, you just walk out the door. And you can do that any time, at any point in your career, when you're with us. And the other thing, the LT, forgot to mention here, was when you come to work for us in Pictou at 144 CEF, because there's 4 flights in Canada. There's 2 in Nova Scotia, 1 here, 1 in Bridgewater, 1 in Gander, Newfoundland, and another one in Abbotsford in British Columbia. That's the only 4 flights that were stood up back in 1996, and we were lucky enough in Nova Scotia to pick up 2 of those. But you can come in and you can work with us as long as you want, and you can walk out the door anytime you want. We've had guys come in and just stay and got the red seal. I know electricians that work with us. He's now running a company in the valley. So it's a free, it's a good benefit. It's a free benefit. Anyway, I'm going to take up too much of your time here for rambling on.
yeah, can I just mention one thing? Like, I'm a reg force, so I don't have as much flexibility as this flight does. So coming here as the officer commanding was an eye-opener for me as well, because I was not too aware of the structure, the reservist structure of things. But like you said, it's extreme flexibility. You can come in, you sign a contract, if you want a 6-month term, it's paid like it's full-time. You're getting paid on weekends while you don't work on weekends. You still do have the obligation to come into work if anything goes wrong, you know what I mean, like a pipe burst or something like that as a plumber. But Nolan Reddick was saying in the last 20 years he only had to do that once. So that's rare, right? And aside from that, you can terminate your contract at any time if anything comes up. Other than that, you're Class A, so you're obligated to show up once a month, and then just to keep your service intact. And the max where you can work is 14 working days a month. But that's, that type of thing allows you to work a civilian job as well, and continue working with the military. You can come in and out whenever you desire.
Awesome.
Any questions for us or any?
Yeah, Roy, I went through the, as you know, I went through the trades training, through the vocational training. I take it your training is recognized through the Nova Scotia Department of Labor?
What happens there, when our guys get ready to work the Red Seal, or become QL, it's called QL Qualification Level 5, that's equivalent to a journeyman on Civvy Street. So when our guys write that test, usually you're engaged down in Brunswick to write the test, or it could be here at the local unit, here in Pictou. We encourage them then to run right downtown, because the minds are fresh, they get all the numbers in their minds, and we encourage them, the military actually press these guys, run downtown and do your Civvy test right now. Get your Red Seal, is what's called outside, run the different trades. But we encourage guys to do that, Brian, to go downtown and do the Red
Okay,
Seal.
so they still have to write. But that's good, because I know hands-on is the most important thing. There's a lot of theory, but you guys are giving a lot of hands-on experience, which is good.
And we get a lot of hands-on, like up in Afghanistan and we worked over in Europe. And the training we get, and every year we do training in the U.S. So we do training like on a global system, not just here in Canada or here in Nova Scotia. Our training is like world-based. The electricity that we use here in Canada is different from Europe, it's different from Dubai, it's different from places that we've been. So it's a very broad scope to individual when they get out, when they do the SEALs or do the Red Seal ticket. They've got more experience than most Red Seal guys would have because of the traveling they've done and the areas they've worked in.
I don't know if it's different today, but when I came out in the trades, of course, it was hard to get a job. So that would be really good. I mean, you're training them, and as soon as they come out, they've got work, which is excellent.
Brian, as soon as they come out of school, they put right to work. They don't, we don't let them sit around or lay around, whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't have to look for work. We bring work to them. And that's why we're here with this, community project thing. We need the community projects as much as community projects need us. Because community projects, the whole program is based on the community project, idea. That's where it came from. And if we don't have the projects, our guys don't get the training. Where our guys aren't getting training, the reg forest, the people in Winnipeg who control us basically, they're gonna say, well, there's nothing going on in Pictou, well, let's downsize. Let's not have 42 members, let's start downsizing. Or else, tell the guys, okay, you can't work in Pictou, but you can't work in Trenton, or you can't work in Cold Lake, Alberta, whatever, and move them out to work.
So the RCAF club that was here, just to use as an example, like they built a new building, so it was carpentry work, plumbing, electrical, and the whole thing. Would that have been something they could have qualified for if they had approached you?
By the sounds of it, yes, but it depends on the time frame as well. So like our project coordinator will come in and do a reconnaissance, basically come there, visually inspect what has to be done and roughly how long it will take. So once the project is initiated, what is it, it has to be complete within a year or something like that, or it's
It's a 12-month period, the project can be on the books, but we start a project for you guys, see if we can get this work for you. And we had a training request, or we do what we call A&G, American National Guard, working with the Americans on an American basis. It keeps Canada and U.S. forces on the same level. And we work quite close with U.S. forces, even though the U.S. governments and the Canadian governments don't see eye to eye all the time, but through the military, we have to work closely. We sleep together, we live together when we go outside of Canada. So it's not just American, Canadian anymore. It's, okay, we're the NATO East Force, we're the NATO whatever we are at that time.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to get a grasp on what size projects you can take on. Like with the wing over there, I believe what they did was they got a contractor to come in and do part of it, and then they did some of it themselves, the drywall and different things like that. That it was a cooperation between you and a contractor. So is that something that would be feasible in your plan?
Brian, the one we're gonna do, we're looking at a project up in Middleton, the other side of River John area.
Right.
They have all the money in order, they have all the materials in order, but we looked at the project last week, our project coordinator went up and talked with those folks, and he came back and said, it's just too big a project for us to do right now, because we have some other training, some other projects on the books at the time. So he said, okay, we'll break it down, we'll do the roof for you, and we'll do the inside, we'll strip road, do the insulation, chip rocking, the electrical, this sort of thing, and then we're gonna get a contractor to put the siding and the windows and that kind of stuff in.
Good.
So
Thank
we
you.
do split jobs up fine.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
well, thank you.
Any questions?
No. Yeah, sorry about that, that was, I guess, longer than expected.
No, it's a lot of information. Thank you very much to Roy and Lieutenant Marsado. We do have a couple things here in town. The old rink we put the roof on years ago, that's being transferred into a community center. They just ripped the wall out of it today, and the back wall is ripped out. They might be able to access you in some way. And also our local Legion, there's some issues there inside. They need some renovations done inside. Would they qualify on Legion?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So I guess what I was trying to say was, we like to keep the jobs shorter, it all depends, again, he does that recce, reconnaissance, but, we like to keep the jobs shorter, because the longer they extend for, the longer period that we estimate it will take, the more likely it is to extend the timeline, the original timeline, because, again, our main purpose is to respond to natural disasters, to respond to our ongoing missions, and all that stuff, right? So if we keep it shorter, then we're more likely to actually be able to get it done in a specific time frame. So it all depends. And again, if it is a lot initially, we can also break it down into chunks, maybe submit it as a different scope of work the next year, and all that stuff. So 100%, it could be something that can be submitted and we can look into. But by the sounds of it, it sounds like a great project, right? So it sounds
Awesome.
like
We'll
we can-
forward your information onto those groups then.
We encourage everybody, Dan, just to fill out the request.
Yeah.
We have one now coming in from Little Harbor, that I think that's some kind of a park or something. I'm not sure what it is yet, that's what I called the other day about that. So we encourage everybody to send a request in, and maybe LT's looking to make contact with those folks and say, hey, let's take a look at what you're trying to do here, where we can fit in.
Sounds good. We'll pass your information on. Thank you very much for the presentation. Very informative. We appreciate your time and your commitment to the community.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us today.
Thank you for having us in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you again, Roy.
Yeah, see you, Brian, take care.
Okay, so we'll move on to our second presentation, Pictou County Partnership, the relatively new CEO, Wade Tebow. Wade's been here before for presentation. I don't think he was CEO at the time, but maybe he was, I'm not sure.
No.
No, I didn't think so, okay. But the floor is yours, now the technology's ready.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to present tonight. Please bear with me. I'm fighting a bit of a cold, I think, that or spring allergies. But as His Worship mentioned, my name is Wade Tebow. I'm the relatively new CEO at the partnership. I was with the team and joined the team back in the summer of 2022 and was focusing on our business retention and expansion initiatives, and stepped into the CEO role on an interim basis when our previous CEO, Scott Ferguson, left last December, and was appointed to the role permanently at the end of January. So I thought this would be a great opportunity. We can go through some key highlights from last year and some of our plans for this coming year. Some highlights from last year in supporting businesses and entrepreneurs. Some of the workshops that we were able to host included an Elevate Your Business Value workshop, which focused on business transitions and succession planning. We had a Get Ready for Tax Time workshop for sole proprietors. We did a workshop on artificial intelligence for small business owners, specifically around easy tools like ChatGPT and how Canva and whatnot are utilizing those to help increase their capacity. And then we also did workshops around social media strategies and branding. We launched 3 new programs last year. First is our Side Hustle program. So that is a program that we partner with an organization called the Makers Collective, that they've developed the program, and we've trained 2 of our staff to implement it. We start with a webinar that introduces the concept of getting into the entrepreneurial journey and pursuing one of your passions that you can monetize on the side, and with hopes to turn that into a full-time business. So we started with the webinar, and then people can apply to have one-on-one coaching, which is 10 weeks at a time. We're currently in our 4th cohort of that program, and with the webinars, we've had roughly 90 people register for that program, and our cohorts are continuously waitlisted. And right now we have 10 in that cohort right now. We also launched our Elevate program, excuse me, where we launched that to take an existing small business and work with them one-on-one through a customized program to get them to the next level, whatever that next level was for them, whether it was getting into brick and mortar shop for the first time, or hiring their first employee, or even starting a whole new service. We also launched our Newcomer Business Navigation Program, which is funded by the Nova Scotia Department of Labour Skills and Immigration, which helps support newcomer entrepreneurs in starting businesses here. And right now we have, I think, 17 newcomers that we're supporting in that initiative. We also hosted multiple networking events with our partners in the community, including the Chamber and Ignite, CBDC Noble, and one that I'd like to highlight is that we brought down 2 organizations that are based in Halifax, the Federation of African Canadian Economics and Tribe, which their kind of sole mandate is to support Black entrepreneurs. And like I said, they're based in Halifax, so we brought them down to Pictou County and held a networking event so that they could connect with rural Black entrepreneurs, and that we could promote their services here, and that we could also promote ourselves to that community. We also did in last December, we did a initiative called the Pop Can, which is in partnership with Build Nova Scotia. So they have a converted shipping container that's converted into a bit of a retail store on the Halifax waterfront. And we rented that space during their Evergreen Festival last December, downtown on the waterfront. And we were able to put out a call for local makers, producers, and small businesses to either have their products in the store or their promotional materials brought up to be promoted. The partnership team staffed that Pop Can for the week and then brought back the revenue to those makers. So there was a way, A, for those local makers and producers who just don't have the capacity during a really busy season to expand their market outside of the county and get into Halifax. And B, it was a great exposure for the county to have one retail shop that was filled with products and services that were made by small businesses here in the county. We had a ton of people come in and explain their connection to the county, whether they have family here or their best friend was from here. So it was a really neat initiative to kind of end the year. With supporting immigration and community integration, we have customized support for employers, including developing a couple of tools this year, one being the Immigration Ready Employer Handbook, which helps explain the process to hiring foreign talent. We also have some tools ready for creating inclusive and welcoming workplaces so that when a business hires foreign talent, that they can create a welcoming workplace to retain them. We've also done outreach events, including our employer forum, which was done in partnership with Career Connections, iSands, and the Chamber, Nova Scotia Works, as well as some coffee and conversations events, which included guest speakers on how to have a welcoming workplace. We've also done workshops around diversity, equity, and inclusion for community leaders and business leaders. And we had our Digital Nomad initiative, which was originally a project that was meant to attract people who are able to work remotely, come to the county, whether they visit or were connected to an employer. And that quickly turned into a bit of a labor mobility initiative where we saw 80 registrants, I believe it was at the time, that registered from every province across the country except for Newfoundland and 9 countries outside of Canada. And many of them had mentioned when they registered that they were looking for a new home, and that ranged from folks in the healthcare field to skilled trades to kind of digital focused careers, including marketing and whatnot. We followed that up with an Immigration 101 webinar for those who were based outside of Canada to explain that process. And we've had individuals leave where they were within the country and move here this spring as a result of that initiative. And we're working with the province to look at how we can fund an initiative to have a bit of a retreat so that we can connect people to employers and they can experience the county in more detail rather than online through panel discussions from people who call our county home. We also did some community connections initiatives, including our volunteer lunch and learn, which allowed volunteer organizations to learn more about the opportunity to include newcomers with volunteer opportunities and help them integrate in the community. We did a winter skating newcomer social at the Wellness Center, and we also created some resources for newcomers, including tips for renting and housekeeping and that type of thing. We also participated for the second time in the Destination Canada Labour Mobility event, which was funded by the province and part of the province's contingent there. We were in Paris, France, and Rabat, Morocco, connecting with individuals who were looking, and we were able to bring the in-demand occupations for the region to those initiatives, where we talked one-on-one with, I think it was 200 people individually, and then we were able to promote those talent pools. And we received 5,000 applications. And now we have a pool of talent that as we're connecting with employers that express a need for labor in a certain occupation, we have that database that we're able to provide to them with individuals who are interested in coming here in that field. We also, one of our major highlights this year was we hosted the annual REN conference in the county. So each year, one of the regional enterprise networks in the province are able to host it. This was our first time hosting it in Pictou County. It was held over 3 days. Some highlights included over 200 attendees to the event. We had a ton of different discussions and some really engaging panelists. And there was a report circulated with some of the impact as a result of that. And between our accommodations and local businesses that supplied for catering and whatnot, the economic impact from this was around $87,000. And we also hosted the main reception of that event here in the town at the Museum of Industry, and it was a great way to be able to tie in the history and evolution of industry in the province with this economic development conference. As I get into some of our plans for this year, I just wanted to mention all of the different realities that go into economic development and some of the factors that influence our work every day that are very macroeconomic factors that we can't solve alone and can't really control. But we do keep them top of mind as we're looking at different initiatives to help grow the county. So things, one I always like to point out is childcare. We're actively involved in conversations around childcare access. And one example, we were chatting with one provider recently that has a wait list of 282 families and will have 16 openings in September. And so accessing childcare, housing, transportation, those are all barriers to growth and ones that we can't solve alone, but we can help play that hub of collaboration and look for partner organizations and governments that we can help move the needle on those things. These are some of the organizations in our community that we work with on a regular basis. This is in our annual business plan and will be shared more broadly, but and what those dots are, they're different, they're color-coded based on the different areas of work that we do, highlighting how we work with them, and with some, we work in multiple different areas. This pie chart is a kind of a breakdown of our funding for this year. So the dark blue area is our core municipal funding, and I'd just like to highlight that, without the support of our municipalities and without that initial investment for municipalities, the rest of that pie is not possible. And so, we greatly appreciate the support and that we have all of the municipalities in our county as part of our regional enterprise network and Pictou Landing First Nation. And what we're able to do is we're able to turn that dollar that's invested locally, and we're able to source additional dollars through different programming funding agreements and project funding agreements to turn that dollar into $4.33. And you'll see the lighter blue is our core funding from the province through the Department of Economic Development. In green, we have multi-year funding agreements. Darker is provincial, and the next shade is federal, and then some others, including ACOA and the Connector program. And then in the purple, we have project funding, which is for this year, which I'll get into in the next few slides. So this year, in supporting business growth and sustainability, we'll continue to support businesses, entrepreneurs, and our community impact organizations to access government resources and programming, building the value of their businesses through the Elevate program and our workshops and one-on-one support. We'll launch new ventures through our side hustle and our newcomer business navigation program, and we'll also have businesses be more prepared for transitions and moving that needle so that more businesses are thinking about transition and succession planning and making those plans. We'll help businesses expand into out-of-province markets and embrace technology and enhance productivity and create sustainable revenue streams moving forward. Some work in the strengthening sectors for investment and attraction. One of the projects that was mentioned in the funding in the last couple of slides was we received project funding this year from the federal Can Export Community Investment Grant Program, which will allow us to hire a consultant to do a SWOT analysis for a region to determine our strengths and weaknesses and some of our opportunities and threats, and identify what our value proposition is to attract investment here. and identify 3 to 4 strategic sectors that we should be trying to attract and further develop for the county. It's also part of the funding was to hire an individual to help build a regional asset inventory so that we have a collective and central place where we can help support and identify different properties that are there for investment and expansion. We will continue to work on the further development of aquaculture, the bioeconomy and renewable energy sectors. We worked with Dalhousie last year around doing some survey work for the further development of shellfish and marine plant aquaculture specifically. We'll enhance our collaboration with Invest Nova Scotia, and this will also allow us to effectively respond to inquiries for business attraction and expansion. Through supporting workforce development and population growth, we'll continue to support businesses with navigating the immigration programs, both federally and provincially, as a workforce development tool, helping employers become immigration ready and embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion practices, and developing onboarding programs to support more inclusive and welcoming workplaces. We'll support newcomers with understanding their rights and responsibilities in the workplace and experiencing an inclusive and welcoming community to increase our retention rates, which again will include things like our community connection program, which matches newcomers with volunteers, community volunteers and organizations. We will also develop more inclusive and representational initiatives. We will spotlight the successes, resilience, and innovative spirit that define our region. We will activate collaborative initiatives across the regional enterprise networks and enhance public awareness of the partnership and its role in our community. We'll work to streamline economic development efforts in the region and identify and support synergies with Invest Nova Scotia, Build Nova Scotia, and ACOA. And all of this is possible because of a sustainable organization, and so we will continue to work to ensure that our organization is here for the long term. And we'll continue to do that through playing the role of the hub for community economic development collaboration. We'll continue to source funding from diverse sources and enhance our stakeholder communication and engagement. Some examples of our work here, specifically in the town and connecting with businesses here. Some of the examples of work that we've done with businesses here in the town include navigating them to resources for building improvements, expansion plans, as well as sector development with the Atlantic Home Building Renovation Sector Council. We did a tour with them last year around the county to different businesses in this sector, and then connected them with NSCC here in town. And we're now finalizing some of the logistics of now offering a micro-credentialing program here at the college, specifically around those trades. We've also highlighted multiple businesses through our social media and shared with other media outlets. On the immigration support, we've worked with Blue Lobster Public Host and Sobeys, and I'll just read this testimonial from Lisa Harris with Sobeys. I've worked with the Pictou County Partnership on 6 endorsement applications for the Atlantic Immigration Program. They've been incredibly helpful in providing guidance, assembling paperwork, answering questions, and ensuring that everything stays on track. Immigration can be tricky and confusing with lots of change, so it's very reassuring to know that I have experts I can rely on to guide me through the specifics. Without them, I don't think we would have become a designated employer or been able to submit endorsements for our teammates because it would have felt intimidating and time-consuming. I sincerely appreciate everything that they've done to assist us. And I will be back again later this year to update you on our work. But in the meantime, please keep in touch with us through our social media channels. We release quarterly reports. Our annual report will be released soon. And we also have a bi-weekly newsletter that we send through email. And obviously we communicate regularly with our Liaison and Oversight Committee and are grateful for their support as well. And to have Councillor Simon Lawan as our Vice Chair as part of that, and his support has been great. So I would just now like to thank you for the opportunity to present this evening, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that, Wade. It seems like the organization is very busy. Is there questions for?
No, I just want to thank Wade for coming in and updating us on the progress of what's going on. It's always great to have communications. Wade, maybe you have, but putting together, film, showing Pictou County, you see other areas have them, promoting their county and what industries and businesses, and swimming, we got a lot here to offer people and businesses, and then putting that, have you done that yet, or is this something you'd look at?
We've done some, last year at our AGM, we released a video that we did highlighting some of the businesses in the county and their successes in doing business here. This year, we're doing a video around the supports that are available for businesses. And then as we now do this work that I mentioned this year around identifying the different sectors that we should be attracting here and trying to strengthen and develop further, we will be creating tools once we know what exactly, we know some of the quality of life aspects, our beaches and all of the other aspects that make living here great, but really making sure that we're providing the right message to the right audience at the right time. And so on the tourism side, we have Coastal Nova Scotia, and so we have conversations with them, and we don't get into the tourism side of things as much because they are there and do that good work. But on the population growth side, we've also done 360-degree videos so that as we're doing our labor mobility work, and people can actually watch a video of different areas throughout the county and experience it in a sense by being able to actually navigate on the screen, or if you have a headset, actually looking around the environments, everything from our beaches to our parks and riverfronts. So that is on our YouTube channel.
And it's important to social life. So when people want to come here, they want to know, is there a place where the kids go to school? What do we have to offer, and that type of thing?
Yeah.
What type of police protection you have? What's your educational system like? Yeah. I mean, all that factors into, whether businesses or people want to move here. Exactly.
We have an application for funding that we've done in conjunction with the Chamber, Deans, ourselves, Healthy Pictou County, to look at creating a central place where all of the content that all of those organizations that I mentioned are working on can live in one place as an attraction tool to visit or to work or to invest here. And so hopefully we'll be able to get to a point where we have that central location that we're all contributing to.
That would be very helpful. Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
Any further questions?
Yeah, well, not a question, more comments, I guess. Wade, thank you for the presentation. As Wade said, I'm the vice chair of the LOC committee. Wade and the team has been doing an excellent job, and I want to highlight a few things in Wade's presentation that I felt very strongly about, and I would like just to bring a little bit more attention to them. Business succession plan is something that we've seen happen in the county over and over, where a business owner getting older and eventually closing down the business because there's nobody to take over from them. The ambition of the kids is often different than the ambition of the parents, and we've seen multiple businesses in the past have closed down, and this succession plan that the partnership has started is an excellent avenue to try and explore potential buyers or potential apprentices that could take it on in the future. So I just want to highlight that. The other thing I want to talk about as well is I don't think Wade gave the REN conference enough credit. Multiple people in council and wardens and different areas of the county and outside the county have considered this conference to be one of the best that they've ever been. So that was a testament for the work that Wade and the team did, but also to our environment here in Pictou County. One thing that we have been talking about for a while, which finally is going to happen, is the asset inventory database, and that will showcase everything that Pictou County has to offer. That is a major step in the economic development of any county. When presenting to the outside world, they need to understand what the asset management is in this county, and we don't have that. So that is a very important step in our journey that Wade and the team is taking on. Last two things I will mention is And this is for all young entrepreneurs. And recently, I've taken a friend of mine to the partnership. My friend had an idea, didn't know where to start, what to do, how to go about it, or whatever. And I took him to the meeting. Two individuals from the partnership met with him, got all the information, and got back to him already on some stuff, and there's more investigation going on. So anyone that is out there that has an idea but don't know really what to do, the partnership would be an excellent information and help for them. And the last thing I want to mention is, in the presentation, Wade mentioned, having 5,000 contacts in one of the initiatives. So I just want you to imagine that 5,000 contacts, if each one of them generated 5 emails back and forth to try and understand the situation, that's 25,000 email. And what I'm trying to get to is that this requires resources. And resources are, strained with all the projects that they're doing. But they have been doing a lot of good work. And I just want to highlight that it's not an easy job what they're doing. Not everything is known or shown immediately, but all of the brickwork that they're doing, foundational work, is good for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor One. Thank you for your service in the LOC. If there's no further questions, we thank Wade for the presentation. Like I said, very informative, a lot of information there, and it shows you guys are doing a lot of work that is good for the county, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
And as a bit of a segue, I guess, I just want to introduce here in the gallery is Ross McDonald, our municipal advisor. He's been at a few Pictou County Partnership meetings as well, so there's a little bit of a segue there. But thank you for attending the council meeting tonight, Ross. We welcome your attendance here. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to reports from staff. 6A is Chief Mark Hoback. The Police Commission's meeting this Thursday. We delayed a couple weeks for there was training that was going on, so we had to delay it. But the reports includes. Any question in the report? I just wanted to highlight that Constable Vandegrift gave a cyber safety talk at the Sharon St. John Church. He also did a youth internet safety talk at G.R. Saunders. Constable Morale Lieutenant G.R. Saunders for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And Inspector Pond, Sergeant Irving, and Constable Sampson took part in Stellarton's Go Green, Get Clean garbage cleanup. So there's community policing taking place. Wanted to highlight that. Any questions or comments in the report?
Your worship, highlight the fact that this week is Police Week, and the police and the RCMP were front and center here, and they had the kids come down from G.R. Saunders, and they were getting a big charge out of them. They were demonstrating their extra bulletproof vest. They were all carrying it, and they wanted to get tasered. No, they wanted me to get tasered, the chief to get tasered.
I would like to see that.
But it was good. It was very rewarding. Yeah. The other thing was that I went to the NSAPG. Unfortunately, the Department of Justice was supposed to be there, and they didn't show up. So it wasn't all that productive.
Thank you for those updates. And as I drove out this afternoon, the back parking lot's where that took place. There's a lot going on back there. So thanks for bringing that to our attention, Councillor Knight.
And I'll move to accept the report.
Thank you.
I'll second that. And on the question, we just want to mention that we got an email from a resident asking for some speed bumps, and that this was forwarded to the Police Commission to investigate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So move the adoption of the report moved by Councillor Knight, second by Councillor Wand. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Nancy, thank you. 6B is the Fire Chief Michael Sullivan's report for the Fire Department. The way we like it was a fairly quiet month for the Fire Department. April was. Any questions or comments in the report?
I'll move the report as written, Your Worship.
I'll second that, Your Worship, but I just want to point out that we had a comment from the Mayor of New Glasgow, and the fact that with their support and that fire on the west side, had they not had the fire departments there, they would have lost the west side. And of course, it same happens with Stellarton. We have a major fire. They're there for us, so it's great to have
Mutual aid.
mutual aid in Pictou County. It certainly probably saved a lot of lives and a lot of properties, yeah, and I just want to point that out.
Thank you, Councilor Knight. It's very important, mutual aid, and we're very happy it's in place, as are residents or businesses when their buildings or lives are threatened. So moved by Councilor Pence, seconded by Councilor Knight. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried unanimously. Thank you. 6C is Paige Draper, Marketing Communications. Just highlight a few things from her report. She's been busy this summer, or so far this spring, booking the fields. So if you want to book a field for recreation, go through Paige for that. We ordered a few pieces of recreation equipment for River Street, Pleasant Avenue Park, as well as the Albion baseball field. Highlight of last month was our volunteer reception. The volunteer of the year was Sandra Ice. She won the Francis Bud McKay Volunteer of the Year award. We also honored some retiring Communities in Bloom members, and we did recognize none of their volunteers as well, so that was a great event. Homecoming takes place July 24th to 28th. We have a couple new events, Homecoming Kaylee and a 5-kilometer run. I don't know if anyone from council wants to participate in the 5-kilometer run or not, but the Jay's Care Foundation will be here on Fun Day on May 3rd at Sample Complex in the Asphalt. They expect between 100 and 200 kids in addition to 40-plus corporate volunteers, so it should be quite an event. We encourage our residents and young people to go check it out. Summer students, we've hired a summer student for the position of marketing and events assistant for the summer. Olivia Fitt has accepted this role and worked closely with Paige, so we welcome Olivia to the team for the summer. And the Go Clean, Get Green on April 26th, staff from all departments took place in this initiative. They cleaned up around the Miners Monument, the War Memorial Olympic Park, and the area around the highway, jungle gyms, the water treatment plant, the business park, and others. So just want to thank staff for that participation in that. And with that, that was everything I wanted to highlight. Any questions or comments on the remainder of the report?
Your worship, you said Pleasant Avenue, was that Pleasant Street?
That's what I thought it was Pleasant Street too. That's I stumbled on it for a reason. Thank you,
I so
Councilor,
move.
for that clarification. Anything further?
No, I so move.
I'll second.
Thank you. Moved by Councilor Juan, second by Councilor Pence. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, carried unanimously. Thank you. 6D is Blaine Murray, town engineer. Both reports are included. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I do have a question. I received a call from Neptune that there's 2 water meters that are faulty. Are we hearing a lot of faulty meters?
We are getting some, and this is the trial period where we're trying to test them out. The actual bill consumption will begin in 2025. So this is the time that we can see what people's consumption is, so we can tell what's not working. And with any kind of mechanical thing, you're going to get things that need to be worked on continuously, but we're lucky that we can see what's not working and what is working, so that is normal.
Okay, cool.
The building doesn't start till next year, so
Get all the bugs out.
Right, we're going to get all the bugs out. We have to do another water rate study, and we hope to do a mock bill consumption for residents to see what their
Yeah.
consumption is before they actually get charged.
A couple of more questions. On the water bills you mentioned, did we do the final increase now? Is there any more increases?
The increase was April 1st.
Yeah.
There will be another increase April 1st, 2025.
2025.
But we're hoping that the water rate study will be in place by then.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing is on Public Works. Got a call about Birch Hill Drive, asphalt. I told the resident that it's not on the red pavement list yet, but if the engineer can take a look at it, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
might be some patching that can be done or something.
Yeah.
Any further questions or comments? I just wanted to mention that on April 29th, we started the carbon system for our water quality. That's been successful the last few years. We will start that again this spring.
Do we have the same Simon for that, worship?
Yeah, it was Councilor Wand who kind of
It
pushed
was
that.
him that
so.
started it.
All right. Thank you, Simon.
You're welcome. One last thing I forgot. I was hoping to see Shannon McIntosh. I don't see Shannon McIntosh in here.
Yeah, she's our new hire for
You'll
the,
see her out on the fields.
Well, you tell her congratulations from us, please. Thank you.
and with that, can I have a
So-
motion, please?
So moved.
And I'll second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Campbell, second by Councillor Wand. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Nancy, thank you. 7 is correspondence. 7A, Province of Nova Scotia Municipal Affairs and Housing.
This is information from the Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing regarding the Canada Community Building Fund. That agreement expired on March 31st, 2024. So they're just providing us with an update on the renewal of the CCBF. In coordination with the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities, the province continues to work diligently with the federal government on the new 2024-2034 CCBF agreement negotiations. So that's just information on that.
Okay, thank you. No need for motion, so we'll go on to 7B, the library.
So the Pictou Antigonish Regional Library, at their regular board meeting, the annual budget was reviewed and approved, and a copy of that is attached for your information. In 2020, the province of Nova Scotia introduced a new funding formula, and I'm sure you remember that, as the 8 municipalities within our region supported the Pictou Antigonish Regional Library through the previous 10 years of few, if any, provincial grant increases. The board committed to no municipal grant increases for the 5 years of the formula. The assistance through those lean years was greatly appreciated and recognized. This is the 5th year of that commitment, and there is no request for increase to the grant,
Good to hear.
which is unusual.
See what happens next year. But,
Yes.
exactly. But we're thankful for the good work that the regional library does in Pictou County, Stellarton in particular. It's highlighted in this letter, but the libraries are more than just books now. They're more about community health, well-being, growth. They do things like food closets, technology training, accessing primary health care. So they're a very important part of the community. They're community hubs, so we're glad that they're here, and we're happy to help fund them.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Your Worship. I'm also on the board, and we were presented with a chart of what the library used to be in 1950 to the library now. And the library in the 1950s was around, lending books, and there was a couple of other, maybe 2 or 3 other services. And as you go through the year, it kind of expanded to the point where right now it touches almost everything, which is unbelievable. And the amount of passion that the team has is also very something to be commended on, and it's one of my favorite committees, actually. Thank you.
Awesome. I'd like to thank the staff here at the Stellarton Library. They do a great job for us. Okay, we'll move on to Committee of the Whole report.
The following recommendations are for Council's consideration from the Committee of the Whole meeting that was held on April 22nd, 2024. Recommendation number 1. On recommendation of Committee of the Whole, Council approved the curb and gutter replacement tender received from SW Weeks in the amount of $371,467,000 plus HST, as this was the lowest tender received. Number 2, Council approved the Kirk Avenue infrastructure tender received from SW Weeks in the amount of $2,117,450,000 plus HST, as this was the lowest tender received. And number 3, Council approved the patching tender received from Webster Brothers Paving and Concrete in the amount of $59,785 plus HST, as this was the lowest tender received.
So move.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Pence, second by Councillor Knight. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Nancy, thank you. We're pleased to be able to do some significant capital work this year in the town of Stellarton, so we're happy to see that those tenders come through. Number 9, Stellarton Town Council honorarium.
Yes, so council had approved a minimal increase in 2021-2022 of 2%. Council honorarium, what I'm recommending is to increase every 4 years in the last budget of the year for the current council, and will be cumulative change as in the QP union contract rates, which is what the non-union gets. And this rate would hold until the next adjustment.
Thank you. And I believe that's a policy from quite a long time ago that's been passed.
Yeah, so
Early
we're just
2000s.
wanting to formalize that for this time.
Okay. Everyone good with that?
I just need a motion, and yeah.
So move.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillor Pence, second by Councillor Knight. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, Motion carried, Nancy, thank you. Number 10 is a bylaw amendment, noise control, number 54, first reading.
So this is the first reading of the amendment for noise control bylaw number 54. As you will recall, council approved that amendment to go forward. So it is found on page 6 of your council, of the bylaw in your council package. So what the amendment will read is, it will be under general exemptions, number 12, letter L. Solid waste service providers, would be under the exemption, solid waste service providers to commercial businesses who require access between the hours of 5:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. due to traffic concerns and accessibility under the provisions of number 13. This was given to our town engineer as well as the traffic authority, and that seems acceptable to them. So this is, I do need a motion for the first reading.
So move.
I'll second that motion, Your Worship, and just under the understanding that we're going to have a public meeting. And
Correct.
And if the public is against it, we can refuse it then if it's an issue?
Oh, yeah, this is only the first reading, so.
Okay. I just want to clarify
Yeah,
that.
so what I have to do now is I have to notify 100 meters of the neighbors of these commercial properties to inform them of the public meeting, which will be held on June 10th at 5 PM, and before the council meeting, and where you will have your second and presumably final reading. It probably will end up being 100 people I have to notify, but
So moved by Councillor Pan, second by Councillor Knight. Is there any other
On the
question?
question, yes. And we can also adopt it with exemption. They ask for 4 locations.
they have asked for specific locations, but we've put it as more general, solid waste service providers to commercial businesses who require access between the hours of 5:30 and 7.
So it's all businesses then?
That require that.
Okay. Because I have an objection about one of them on Rundle Street. I think it's too populated as a residential area. So I'm just wondering if we can.
Was that in their original request?
I think so, yes. It's the one here on Jubilee, the
Doctor's office?
doctor's office
Okay,
behind
yeah,
it.
that is on there.
Yeah, so if there's a way that we can separate between the one on Main Street from this one, if,
They requested this one,
Yes.
yeah.
so I'm comfortable with all the others except for that one. That would be my concern. Thank you.
Yeah, I just thought that might be an issue over there. That's why when we first brought up. Can we also find out how many, can we specify how many days a week?
Yeah, is it once every 2 weeks, like regular pickup, or is it more frequent?
It's more frequent. It's for commercial business, so it's
Yeah,
probably
I
twice
think-
a week.
That should be put in there.
Sorry?
Yes, I mean, how many days a week they're going to actually do it. If they're only doing it once every 2 weeks, that's
No,
different.
it's more than that.
Then it's every
commercial
day, you
businesses.
know, I mean, that's.
I believe
that's
it's
the question.
twice a week,
Okay, just.
but I will confirm that.
Okay, thank you.
And should we specify exactly what areas so there's not as little impact as possible, or?
He gave a list, but I suggested in the bylaw to put all commercial, but we can certainly specify what businesses.
I think we should.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay?
I would specifically to that list that he wants.
Okay.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded, so all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, motion carried, Nancy, thank you. Move on to item 11, is added by Chairman of the Police Commission, Councillor Knight, so police.
Thank you, Your Worship. When spring comes and the snow and ice is off the road, everybody likes to drive a little faster. The problem is, there was a request for speed bumps, there's a request for stop signs, and when you put speed bumps up, then you're going to have a lot of people up in arms because for different reasons. Like I had one individual complain about the speed in front of his house. He said, don't put speed bumps there. Because once they're there and cars are going over click, 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 click all night, then the residents that want them, they're going to change their minds. But we did approach the Department of Justice here a number of years ago, asking them to give us the rights to lobby to post their own speeds. Halifax did it, and they were approved. So I'm not sure which, it was the police commission or the council that sent the letter out before, but we could find out. Police commission. I'd like to have one sent out from the council to ask for that permission, because one of the issues is if 50 is supposed to speed limit in town, all right? And if we take our speed sign out and we put it up, you're going to find out that very few people are over 50. But there's a 10-kilometer grace. So in fact, they can be doing 60 kilometers through town. There's nothing our police can do about it. So it's absolutely fruitless for them to go out and sit by the side of the road with a radar gun. Nothing's going to happen. So what I'd like to do is lobby them again to lower the speeds, because in most streets around here, 30's fast enough. I mean, 40 at the most on Pleasant or McGregor. And it's not just one locality I'm getting it. I mean, we have 2 officers on duty, and unless the council wants to put out the money for an officer just for traffic, we have 2 officers on duty, and they're stretched thin enough. Because they leave my place there in that stop sign, and there's, not all the time, but there's occasional, they're ripping up through there. And by the time the police get there, they're gone. So to sit somebody there all day is not going to work. They do a great job in what they do with the stop signs. And then again, you know what happens when we put a stop sign up? Everybody complains about a stop sign because they don't want to stop. You know, it seems like they don't care unless it affects them, you know. But right now, we got kids out there running around the street, you know. To me, a stop sign is certainly a lot less than a child's life or somebody's injury, you know. But nevertheless, if I'd like to lobby them and lobby the government to have the ability, and again, that would be up to the traffic authority. That would be up to the chief of police. He would be the one that would do that. It wouldn't be the police commission. So I'd like to make that motion.
I would like to second that, and I would add a comment. I am one of the people that hate stop signs, but I strongly recommend a reduction of speed to 30 or 40. I think it works, and I think Brian has been working on that for years, and he gets my full support on this.
Yeah, I agree. Some of the side streets, 50 kilometers is too fast, period. Okay, so it's been moved by Councillor Knight, second by Councillor Lawand. If no further discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, motion carried and answered.
And Susan, if you don't mind, if you can check back to see when that letter went out, just so we can put that in there. You know, the fact that we sent, we asked, we didn't get an answer back. The Department of Justice is not as cooperative as we'd like them to be. And would you send a copy to? There's only 3 right now, 3 of our MLAs as well as the Minister of Justice, please.
Did we get a response last time?
Did we?
Just kind of, you remember?
It's been a while, yeah. I know Halifax was given permission, but how it works up there, they're given permission in designated areas of Halifax. They did get permission, so I don't know, maybe it's because they got 500,000 people there, they get a little more pull than we have. I don't know, maybe greasy wheel, we keep hollering at them loud enough, so they might eventually give way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Number 12 is the open forum. I would like to speak at the open forum. Next council meeting is Monday, June 10th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. here at the council chambers.
And the public hearing will be at 5.
Thank you. Public hearing at 5 p.m. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?